Okay, so in today class, we will learn about SCP command, right? So what is the SCP, how we can use SCP command, and what is the purpose, just like we'll understand all these things, right? So, okay, so let's move ahead. So SCP is used to copy file between two hosts, right? So basically SCP command is used to secure copy, you can say, right? Just like a CP command is there, right? CP command is there, and same like we have SCP command, but this command is used to copy files between host on a network, right? Just like if you have so many hosts on the network, right? Server 1, server 2, server 3, server 4, and you want to copy any file from one server to another server, right? Then you will use SCP command. Okay. So SCP copy files between host on a network. It uses SSH for the data transfer and uses the same authentication and provide the same security as SSH. SCP will ask for the password or passphrase if they are needed for authentication, right? So when you will copy any file from one server to another server, right? So both server will have a IP. So there is a default protocol called SSH, right? So SCP also use SSL protocol, right? In the backend to transfer the file from one location to another location, means from one server to another server. And it also provides the same security label of, right, which we have on SSH. Okay. So let's move and understand some options, right? So when you will have a command, right, SSH, sorry, SCP, so you have to use -p options, right? So when you will use -p, and then you can specify the port number, right? When you will transfer the file. So next is -small p. So small p is preserved modification time, access time, and just like mode of original files. R is used for the recursively copy entire directly, just like if you were trying to copy any directory from one location to another locations. So that directory will also have some folder or some directory, subdirectory, sub file, right? So it will copy entire directory. -b is used for the verbose most as usual in all other commands which we use. So when you will define -b, it will show you the process. -i is used to define SSH key. All right. So if we talk about the SSH, so when you log in on any server, right? So there is a option for passwordless authentication. Understand? Means you have to configure key-based authentication. So it will not require any password. So if you don't have any password on the server, in that case, you have to use a key to log in on the server. So in that case, you will use -i to define SSH key for authentication. Okay. Capital C is a compression, right? So when you will define -c, it will during the data transfer, it will also just do compression of the files. Okay. And -o. So -o is basically for the SSH options. All right. So there are so many SSH options. When we'll go on terminal, we'll understand. All right. So you can define any parameter during the copy if you want. You can use -o, and you can define cipher suit, and you can define authentication method. All right. All these options you can define. Okay, so let's go on the terminal and understand first, right? So let's suppose we have a one condition here. Copy a local file to a remote server, right? So what it means, right? Let's go on terminal and understand. So let's suppose we have server one, right? So we have server one, and let's go there here. Okay. So now we have a server one in our current desktop, right? And let's suppose you want to transfer any file from this location to another server, right? So let's see what is the IP of this server. Hostname space hyphen capital I. So the IP address of this server is 192.168.1.10. And let's see the second server IP. What is the second server IP? So there is server 2, all right, which IP is hostname space hyphen capital I. So which IP is 192.168.1.14. So let's suppose we have any file, right, on server 1 or on server 2, anywhere, right? Like, so let's go on server 1. So see, on server 1, we have, let's suppose we have this backup script.sh or deploy.sh or anything, right? If you want to log in on any other user, you can log in that too. So let's suppose we have examples.txt. So see, make sure here, right? User doesn't matter means in your real scenario. See, I'm doing everything from root. So it doesn't means you will also do everything from root only. All right. You can do same thing from any user to any user. Okay. So normally you will not get root access on the real environment, but you will get sudo access. Okay, so you can understand the same thing. So let's suppose I just wanted to log in on from this server, server 1 to server 2. How I can log in? Right, ssh space, right, root @ 192.168.1.14, right? So this is the way to log in on another server. So see, now we are facing one issue here. Remote host identification has been changed. So how you can fix it? So this usually happened when IP got changed for that host, right? So it is also indicating, right? So some issue is there in this known host file in line number 5. So you just have to open this vim, right, /root dot ssh known underscore host. So here in line number 5, if you will go here, line number 5, you will see the IP address of that server 192.168. So you, what you have to do, you have to just delete this line and then save it. Okay, and run same command again. So now this one is solved and it is asking for the host verification key. So you can give Red Hat. See, now we have logged in on the server 2. So here also, let's see if we have any file. So we have so many files, but not that file which we was talking on server 1. So see, now I have logged out from server 2 and again I am on the server 1. So let's do ls here. Now the actual task, we have to copy our file, this backup script.sh, right, from server 1 to server 2. So how we can copy? How we can copy? All right, so we can copy, right, from scp command. So the syntax will be scp space local file, whatever file you want to copy. After that, username as the rate remote server IP, and after that, location of the server, right? So let's go on the screen again and check. So what will be the command? Scp space backup.script. See, now we have here, sorry, scp slash. Now one more thing. So see, in pwd command we have root, right? So this file is available under root. So either you can use the relative path or either you can use full path. So let's do with relative path first, right? So scp space, right, that this file name. So what is the file name? Backup underscore script dot sh. So this is the file name. which we wanted to copy from our local system to the remote system. So in remote system, in which user you have access, just like you should have the access on remote server also. So on as of now, we have root access also. So we can do root as the rate means we are telling on which server you are talking about, because root is also available on the local server, right? So here we are talking about 192.168.1.14 server, right? So this is the server. Now you have to define a colon, and after that you have to define a path where you want to copy this backup underscore script dot sh. So where we want to copy? We want to copy under root only, right? So we have to define slash root, right? Let's suppose if you want to copy on some other place like OPT, then you will define OPT. If you want to copy in the home slash ns cloud slash like this. So it will copy on ns cloud home directory. And if you want to copy it on ns cloud desktop, you have to define desktop like this, right? So make sure you define the correct path where you want to copy the file. So in current scenario, we are going to copy on the root. Okay. Okay. So now put enter, right? So see, now it is asking for the password. Why it is asking for the password? Because, right, it will require authentication. Otherwise, anyone can copy anything from anywhere, right? So we are using SSH command. So it is asking for the SSH password of root user, right? So here, so see, root as the rate 192.168 and password means it means you have to give root password here. So let's give password red hat. So see, now copied successfully 100%. This was the copy speed, and how much time it's taken? Nothing, right? It's 00 because it's a very small file. So let's go on terminal 2 and see that file reaches there or not. So let's do ls here. See, this backup script dot sh. So host name, capital I. See, the IP is correct, right? So we copied successfully from server 1 to server 2. Understand?
Yes.
So you can copy any file, right? And SCP is the default tool available in the Red Hat system to copy any file remotely. Okay, that is the default tool, SCP. So next, let's suppose you want to copy a remote file to the local directory. So this is also vice versa, right? Means the condition can be you want to send file from your system to another server, or either you want to receive file from another server to your own server, right? Means what we did in the last command. In last command, we copy file from server 1 to server 2, right? The same thing can be done from server 2 to server 1 also. But if you want to go on server 2 and then perform, then it will happen. But you can also reverse that process from your own server only. Just like in this command, this is command, this is source, and this is destination, right? Now, let's suppose I just wanted to copy file from server 2. So the file name like this one, my database 12may.sql. I just wanted to copy this SQL database, right? From server 2 to server 1. Then what we have to do? You have to just reverse this command, right? How you can reverse? Just SCP. Now This is source, right? This is source means this file is available on where? Under root, server IP is 14, and then location of that file is this. Okay. Now, where you want to save? I just wanted to save in my current directory. So if you want to save in current directory, you have to just put dot, right? Or either you can define your path, right? How? Root. Sorry, tab always create issue with, all right, this when you use scp command, it creates some issue here due to some packages missing, right? So now we have defined command, and then now it's source, right? And this one is destination. But remember, you are running this command from your system also, so don't be confused between source and destination. Understand?
Yeah.
You can run same command from both sides. If you want to do the same thing from server 2 to server 1, what you will do? On server 2 to server 1, you will do scp space database root as the rate 192.168.1.100 colon slash root slash, right? See the difference between both command on both server, right? On server 1, we have command scp, the IP first we have written that IP address, and then we have given destination location. And if we are doing same thing from server 2, sorry, server 2, so here is scp, and then first you have defined that SQL database, right? The path of that file. So this is relative path. This is relative path because this file is available on the same folder, right? And if you want to give absolute path, you have to give like a root like this. Okay, so this is absolute path. Understand? So
Yeah.
let's run on server 1 and press enter. So see, again, it is asking password from 14, right? Because we are copying this file from 14. So let's give the password. Ls. See, again, this database has been transferred. If you will do ls on your server, you will get that database. See, sorry, this one, right? Okay, so you can basically either you can run same command, right? Doesn't matter if you have access, just like a server access from one location doesn't require to go on the second server and do the same thing. You can run same command from your server. You have to just change the destination as a IP address. Okay.
Okay.
Next. So this command copy the remote file.txt, right, to the local directory at the specific path, right? Means SCP username, IP address, remote server file path, and then local path, right? The same we understand. So next question is, let's suppose you want to copy an entire directory on remote server, right? In last command, what we did, we copied a single file from one server to another server. But in this command, what we have to use, we have to copy an entire directory from one server to another server, right? So let's go there and understand. So let's suppose we have ls nscloud. See, okay, so in nscloud we have some files at least. So u-sh. So it's 344k. So I just wanted to copy this file from this location to server 2, right? So what we will do? SCP space -r. Why we will use -r? Means we are trying to copy file recursively. So ns cloud So see, when we are using SCP command and pressing tab, right? So it's showing like this. So this basically happened due to some dependency, right? Issue. We'll check and we'll let you know what is the dependency name and which dependency is missing. So you have to type that name, right? So when you have you will use, you have to type that name. So SCP space -r, and after that you have to define the path of file. So again, if that directory is available in your current directory, you can simply type that name, or you can define the full path of that file. So full path will root / nscloud. Okay, and where we want to copy, we want to copy on root as the rate 192.168.1.14. Okay, and then colon, and in where /opt directory. I just wanted to copy on this directory on remote server. So run the command r. See, all file transferred successfully, right? So let's go on the second server and see here. ls where opt. See, we have this nscloud, right? nscloud. See, all files are here. Okay. And the same type. So one more thing. Let's run one same command one again. See here, just try to understand here. We have given after directory, we have given / here. And here what we have given? We have not given /. So it means this nscloud directory will go under opt, right? And let's suppose you want to copy same thing from another file, right? Just like you want to copy it, but you want to keep some other name, just like let's suppose ns only, or either and cloud, right? So in this case, if we run this command, what will happen? It will just let's run and see the difference. Okay. Okay. So we have run the same command and go on the next server and see in where opt. See here, ncloud folder is there. Inside ncloud, we have all files, right? Understand? We have all files. So what it did, it rename also here. It rename also the same folder. It rename. It create that and it rename. But let's suppose again just do the same folder, same command, just change the name cloud. And so what will happen in the current scenario? If I will run this command, it will copy this ns cloud directory with the name of cloud on remote server. But let's put / here, then what will happen? What do you think? See, this is very confusing thing, and most of the people are confused, right? They just like take too much time to complete this confusion, just right, because they do mistake also. If they do, they will not understand the matter of this / or without /. So in this scenario, what will happen? It will create a directory cloud on second server, right? ls / where opt cloud on second server. But in this cloud directory, right, it also plays the same thing. It also plays the same thing. Great. They have updated. No, it was not happening like that before. See, this should go under this cloud directory. This ns cloud go under this cloud directory. If we use like this. Okay. Strange thing. Okay, just let me run one command here. Glo slash ls slash where opt Glo. Okay, okay. See, this feature is an rsync. This feature is in rsync. So, but you understand, you have to be clear, right? In which condition what will happen. So whenever you will copy any file and you want to rename, you have to change the name also. But always make a habit to put slash after this, right? Means if you are using slash here in the last, right? If you are using slash in the last, make sure you also use slash in the starting, right? If you're not using slash in the last, you can also leave slash in the last starting. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now copy a remote file, remote directory to a local directory. So again, it will use the vice versa command, right? If you want to copy any remote directory to a local, you just have to do like this here. SCP space hyphen R, and then let's suppose we are going to copy in OPT, right? Okay. So see, that file got copied in OPT. If you will see in OPT, you will get the cloud directory there, right? So this is how basically you can use SCP command to copy any files from one location to another locations. So next is the important thing, right? Copy with a specific SSH key, right? So if you want to use a specific private key for SSH connection, you can use -i flag followed by the path to the private key, like SCP space -i space private underscore key dot pem, and then see, this format can be anything. I have just written it. Doesn't matter. It's PEM, it's your name and whatever. And then local path. And so let's configure it and understand. So before it, let's suppose you have SSH key. And so before that, you have to configure your SSH authentication to log in from one server to another server. So how you can achieve it, right? So as of now, see, when we are doing any copy from local to, right, cloud, local to basically remote, it is asking, sorry, SCP-R, yeah, it is asking for a password, right? And I don't want to right, give this option, right? I just wanted it should copy without password. It should not ask password anymore when I do any copy from my server to this remote server. So in that case, what you have to do, you have to configure a SSH authentication. SSH authentication, right? That's called passwordless authentication. So to do that, what you have to do, you have to generate a SSH key. How? SSH space hyphen key gen command. You have to use this command for any user. Just like if you are generating for MIMA, you have to log in with MIMA and you can run the same command. If you are generating for any other user, make sure you logged in with that user. And you can also generate the same thing from root, but the actual recommendation is you have to use the same user for which you want to generate SSH key. So the question is why? Because if you will not use that particular user to generate that key, you will face some permission issue, right? So my recommendation as a expert, always generate SSH key with the same user where you want to use that key. So let's run this command ssh-keygen, and after that press enter. So the by default that key will save inside SSH folder of that particular user, right? And the default file name will be id_rsa. So we are okay. We can use the same thing. Okay. And if you want to give a passphrase, understand? Let's suppose you don't want to share the actual password, but you want to share the passphrase. So you can give some passphrase here. So right now we are leaving blank and pressing enter, and again enter, so that it will take a blank passphrase, right? It will not set any passphrase. So see what this command did. This command generate two key, which is saved under /root.ssh. So basically it will save under .ssh folder of the user who run this command. Okay. So we are running this command from root user. So it is generating a file under .ssh by default. Okay. So the two file it will be generated. One will be private key and second will be a public key, right? Understand the private key and public key? So let's do ls.ssh folder. Here, see, one you have id under RSA, and second one you have id_rsa.pub. Now, here you have to understand, if you have password of the remote server, right? Password of the remote server means that 192.168.1.14 server. If you have a password, right, then it's very easy. Easy in both condition, it is easy only, but you have to understand here, right? There will be two cases in the real environment. One, you will have a remote server password, and second, you will not have a remote server password. You will have only key. But when you will create user, in that time you will not have key also, right? But as an administrator, definitely you will have access on the server through some service account or some root, right? So I just wanted to make passwordless authentication. So what I have to do, I have to run command ssh-copy-id. Okay. After that, for which user I just wanted to make passwordless authentication. So I just wanted for root user. And after that, I have to give the IP for which server I just wanted to make a passwordless authentication 192.168.1.14. Okay. So I have to run this command. When you will run this command, what will happen? It will just create a passwordless authentication. So see, it is asking for the password as of now, but when you will run this command, it will ask the password. So just supply the password. So after that, what happens? See, number of key added 1. Now try to log in into machine with SSH and then this. So let's try to log in SSH, or either you can also run the SCP command directly, right? In both scenario, you can, it will not ask password with you. So let's try the SSH first. SSH, and then, right, see, now we have logged in on server 2. It is not asked any password. So just log out. Now our passwordless authentication is done. Means now it is not asking any password to copy file from one server to another server. So let's run SCP command and see it is asking any password or not, right? So see, done. See, done, right? It is not asking any password. It is just it's showing like a local copy. But one thing, always see, when you will SCP command, right? So it will always copy all 5 again and again and again and again. See, right? That file is already copied there, but it will copy again. Okay? You understand how you can copy. So now we have a passwordless authentication, and it is not asking any password to copy file from one server to another server. But go on the question. If you want to use a specific private key, so now it is not asking any specific private key, right? Why? Because when we do configuration of SSH, so this .ssh folder, right? .ssh folder is a part of configuration, and this ID underscore RSA is a default configuration of file. So if you will go on SSH folder and do ls, and you just move it ID underscore RSA to ID underscore RSA dot key, right? Or anything, any name, right? Just like nscloud or anything, and just like nscloud key, right? If you move like this, and now if you run that copy command, see what will happen. Again, it is asking for the password, right? Because we just renamed it. So as an expert, what people do, people generate key, but they don't keep as a default options. They always change their key name, right? So that, let's suppose if any hacker reach at your system, and if they run command, if you will not ask password, it will go without security, right? It will, they will logged in. So now how we can copy? Now we don't have any password, we have this key. Let's suppose they have given this key. This key you can use for SSH, or you can do for any SCP or any command for remote line. So in that case, what you have to do, you have to define -i here, -i. Okay, and after that you can define that key. So what will be key? If you are in current directory, you can use SSH slash then file name, right? So SCP is the command, -i is used for identity, just like supply the key file. So this is the key file, and then -r for recursive, and that's it. See, now it is not asking any password. Understand?
Yeah.
This key you can move anywhere in the file, doesn't matter you have in right this location only, you can keep it anywhere. Understand? Now
Okay.
one more scenario is there, right? Let's suppose you don't have, password of any user, right? For example, on here on remote server, right? You have root access, right? You have root access, but it's not allowed to log in with root. So when you will implement security on your server, SSH b underscore config. So when you will implement security on the server, right? Here. So here in this, you can define all this configuration here. So see here, one option is permit root login as. So by default, when you will go on real environment, you will not be allowed to log in with root remotely. Never ever. So let's suppose I have logged out. So I just did no, means you cannot log in with root on this server. So after that, system CTL restart SSH D. So I just disable. So let's suppose go on the first server again, and run the same command, right? See, it is asking for the password now again, and let's apply the password and see what will happen. I have given password, but still it is saying permission denied, right? In that case, what you will do? Now you don't have a root password, means you cannot log in with root, or you don't have a root password. So in that case, what you can do here on server, let's suppose you have a user, which user, so we don't have any user. So let's create one user. So user add ns cloud, okay, and we don't have any password on this. How you can log in from first server? Let's suppose I'm just going to SSH on ns cloud at 192.168.1.14. So it is there. We don't have any password, so we cannot log in, and we don't have any key also, right? So in that case, what you will do? Let's suppose you have to do some following thing. You have to generate a key. So let's suppose you want to copy the same key, whatever you have, or either you can SSH, run SSH hyphen key gen space ns cloud key, right? Define ns cloud key, or either you can run this command, and when it will ask here, you can define ns cloud, okay? And it is asking for key is already exists, okay, fine, fine, okay. So when you will run ls command, so here it will generate a key for you, where it is id say, okay, I think it's ns cloud failed, it's a directory. See, one directory is there, that's why it's get failed. ns cloud rm space rf. Okay, so let's generate that ns cloud, enter, enter, done. So see, when you will run ls, you will see one key file here, nscloud or nscloud.pub. Okay, now you have to go on second server. In second server here, what you have to do, you have to basically do some following setting for that ns cloud server. Means you have to make passwordless authentication manually, right? You cannot use ssh copy id, right? Because you don't know the password. Understand? Can you make can you run ssh copy id? You cannot run. You can run ssh copy id only when you will have user password with you, right?
Yeah.
But in this condition, we don't have any password for this ns cloud user on server 2, right? But so in that, you have a root access for your user. So what you will go, you will log in with your access, and you will switch to root, and you will make passwordless authentication for this ns cloud. So how you can, right? You have to just switch on ns cloud. So the best part, through root, if you want to log in any user, it will not ask any password. Doesn't matter they have any password or not. Okay. So see, you have logged in with ns cloud, and then you have to run here mkdir.ssh. Okay. After that, you have to create one file, touch.ssh, and after that, authorized, authorized underscore keys. So make sure you don't do mistake in this authorized key, right? It should be in a same format, right? So the key name, that key name should be, so this is the file where all key got stored when you do a passwordless authentication. Okay. After that, you have to just let me just silence my mobile. Okay. After that, you have to change the permission mod chmod 0700 dot ssh, and after that chmod 0600 dot ssh and authorized key. Okay. After that, you have to just open this file dot ssh authorized key and copy key from here. So run cat nscloud.pub. So remember, the private file will you will never ever share with anyone, right? That will always with that particular user for whom you have created this file. And that public.pub file means public file. You can copy this key from public file and go on second server and paste inside this authorized key here now inside this key. Okay. So now your passwordless authentication is done. Let's try to SSH again and see if we are able to log in. Okay. So it is asking for the NS cloud. Yeah, fine. Why it is asking for the password? Because we have we don't have this key on the default location. So this key is on separate location. So you have to use SSH-I and then NS. Oh my God. ls nscloud. Okay. SSH-I nscloud. So now we have defined the key. See, now we logged in with the nscloud user on server 2. Understand?
Yeah.
So these are the options. So let's copy again this, use this SCP command and type home nscloud slash, and then here R key will be your key nscloud, right? This is the key and just copy. So it is, oh, sorry. Still, we have to change the username also. Now we are going to copy with nscloud. So you have to copy. See, this folder is copied successfully. Have you seen the difference? I hope it is very clear thing, all right? You have to just understand, all right? I have tell you 3 scenario for copying file from one server to another server if they don't have a password, and if they have a password, or if they have a key only, right? Next, so let's suppose if you want to define a port number during the copy. So for security reason, sometime, right, people also change their port number. People also change their port number of server. So the by default SSH port is port number 22, right? Port number 22 is the default port for SSH. But let's suppose if anyone want to change their port number, or logically when you work in the production environment, in live environment, you have to make a practice to change the SSH port, default port basically, right? So how you will change that? You have to do that too from etc ssh d underscore config. So here you will see one option for port here. See, here is a option. So by default it is blocked. So what you have to do, you have to just remove hash and change port number double to double two. Let's suppose you want to make double two double two. So you just change it and save it. And after that, you have to restart. System restart SSH D. So whenever you will change any configuration, you have to restart service for that particular configuration, right? So, okay, so it is simply, it is giving some error here. So let's see. Oh, permission denied on 00. Error, bind the port, permission denied. Any address, cannot bind any address. Okay. So basically, see, when we'll go on the SSH server configuration, we'll see all these things. Otherwise, it will take time for the troubleshooting and just do modification all right here. Here, just like address, any, listen, all these things we have to remove it. But you understand, let's suppose anyone change it, right? Anyone change this port, and then how you can copy that file from specific port. So you have to define -p. So let's suppose we go on the server, and again we just copy this, and we have to define space here, capital P, and then you can define the port number like this. And so we have, in our scenario, we have port number 22. So you can also use port number 22, right? So whenever you will get any other port, you can define a port number here. If you will not define, by default, it will accept 22. Understand?
Mm.
If you not define any port here, by default, it will accept 22. But in real scenario, if people change that port number, then you have to specify that port number in SCP command so that you can copy that file from your location to another location. Understand?
Yeah.
Great. So I hope you understand. And let's suppose if you want to copy multiple files. So again, you can use a wildcard. Wildcard means, all right, here on server 1, here, ls, we have txt file, sql file, pub file, sh file. So this is called a wildcard, right? Let's suppose you want to just copy everything from this server to star dot sh, right? You want to copy all dot sh file, whatever is the name, but extension is dot sh. So you can define wildcard here in the name, right? See, all file got copied from this location to that location, right, on the server. Okay, this is called a wildcard. Means if you want, you can define a particular format of file. You don't have to copy all. Just like you required only sh file, so you can copy all sh file. If you want to require just txt file, you can define txt file. Okay. Copy file with progress information. So when you will use -v format, right, then what will happen? So again, let's see -v. See, you got, it is showing you verbose method, means it will show you all the backend process, whatever is happening. So what is happening? See, when you run this command, it is trying to access open SSH, and then reading file from SSH config. After that, it is reading file from here. After that, it is reading file from here, right? So it is showing all the process mechanism, whatever authentication algorithm is used to copy these files, everything you see in the process. Okay. Next. Copy file to remote server, between two remote server. So again, so here we have, let's suppose, so you want to copy from one location to another location. You can also give that run, right? You can use SCP and then user space source IP, and then the path, and after that destination IP, and then destination path, right?
Yeah.
So you just see the just do the practice for this also, because all right, otherwise we'll take. So copy for the compression, you can use -c for the compression during the copy process. So how you can define SCP space -RC? So see, like here in the last command, we have used so many options, right? So doesn't matter, you can use like this -R, R hyphen capital P, sorry, -V, and like this also. All right, means all options you can use together. But here we have to define the I. That's why after defining the I, we can define the SSH. And after defining the P, we can define the port number. All other options just like V, R, P, all right, to preserve the permissions, all these options you can use. And if you want to see more options, right, you can just run man command space SCP, right? So it will give you all detail, all options, just like here, see, some other option is there. If you use -3, copy between two remote hosts are transferred through the local host, right? If you use -4, force SCP to use IP version 4 address only, right? And if you use -6, it will force to use IPv6 only. -B for batch mode. All right. See, compression enabled. If you want to define a cipher also, you can use -C small. All right. Hyphen capital F config. Just like if you want to define any config file during that process, you can also define -I for identity. And if you want to define a limit, transfer limit, you can also use -L, right? See, this is the option which we was talking at the starting, -O, and there are so many options here. Address family, batch mode, bind address. See, so many options to use that hyphen with -O, right? So all these things you will get when you will start working in the real environment. Then you will understand what is the use, right? When you will get to work on it, you can define. And hyphen capital P is used for the port, hyphen small p is used for the preserve the modifications time, Q for quit mode, R for recursive, right? All these options you can basically use. You can always take help from man pages or info pages. Okay, clear?
Yeah.